going on, guys? So we are still in this 2019 Ram Power Wagon, and this is a awesome truck. I mean, it checks so many cool boxes that you want if you want a new truck, including, total off-road dominance. It gives you a tremendous amount of technology. It has a huge engine in it. It is simply a really, really great vehicle. But the one box it may not check for you is it capable of towing a large RV? Now, I've talked about the towing capacity as well as the payload capacity of this truck. And it's not so much the towing capacity that's the issue. It's the payload capacity. So this truck, as it sits, has a 1,123-pound payload capacity. And what that means at the end of the day is how much weight you can load inside of this truck. So whenever you're taking your family out on an RV trip, or whenever you plan on going on a trip, you need to account for the people that'll be in the truck, any supplies that you bring with you, the hitch, if you put anything in the bed of your truck. This truck has the Ram boxes, if you're going to put anything in those. And all of that is going to take away from your cargo capacity. And whatever's left is really what you have left to hitch up behind the truck in terms of a travel trailer. So we're going to talk about that. So one of the big perks you have going for you if you do get something like a Power Wagon and you do plan on hauling a travel trailer is that this is a relatively heavy truck. It is built on a 3/4 ton chassis and it has a relatively long wheelbase. All of that is actually going to benefit you if you're going to be towing a travel trailer because it's going to inherently reduce some sway and it's going to pull a travel trailer a bit more confidently. But when everything is said and done and you deduct people and cargo from a truck like this and from its 1,123-pound cargo capacity, you're probably going to have only about 500 or 600 pounds worth of tongue weight capacity remaining, which means if you haul a travel trailer, you're likely going to have to stick to something weighing roughly 5,000 to 6,000 pounds gross vehicle weight. Now, if you plan on loading your RV very light and you can find a travel trailer that is 5,000 pounds but might have a 7,000 or 8,000 pound gross vehicle weight rating, but you just don't load it up with a bunch of stuff and you keep it closer to that 6,000 pound weight, then you'd still probably be in pretty good shape with a truck like this hauling a slightly larger trailer. That being said, the tow capacity of this truck is not what we question. The tongue weight is what we question. The fact that it only has 1,123 pounds worth of total cargo capacity, which again would only leave you between 500 and maybe 600 pounds remaining tongue weight capacity whenever you load this up with people and cargo. Now let's take a look at some trailers that might be suited for a truck like this. Now let's start off and look at this open range light travel trailer. This is a relatively small travel trailer. It's only about 30 feet long, but let's take a look at the numbers because I can guarantee you that this specific travel trailer is going to be a bit too heavy for that Ram. This specific travel trailer has a gross vehicle weight rating of almost 9,000 pounds, 8,995 pounds. It has a cargo capacity of 1,589 pounds. So even if you remove the cargo capacity from this specific weight, you're still going to be too heavy for that Power Wagon. Mainly because the amount of weight that's going to transfer from the tongue of this trailer to the back of that truck is going to be upwards of about 900 pounds, which would only leave you about 223 pounds worth of total cargo capacity, which you would have to also account for a hitch, which is going to weigh roughly 60 to 70 pounds, plus the people in the truck. So this trailer is a little bit too heavy. Now looking at something like this, so this open range is a stick and tin, which means it is a wood frame with an aluminum skin around it. This is a relatively light unit. So the gross vehicle weight rating of this specific trailer is 6,000 pounds. It has a 1,655 pound cargo capacity, and this one's going to transfer about 600 pounds to the back of that truck, which I think that truck can more than easily handle. So this is the type of setup you might want in terms of weight and length. Now the length of this specific travel trailer is only going to be about 21 feet long in terms of the body. The overall length from the very front to the very back is going to be closer to about 24 to 25 feet. This is roughly the length and weight that you might want to tow behind something like a Power Wagon, mainly because it's not going to have too much weight transferred to the front, and it's still going to give you a pretty good length to the overall unit. Alright, so when you take a look at a unit like this is an open range ultralight. This is the 2410 RL, roughly 24 feet long in terms of the body. It's going to be roughly 28 feet long from the front coupler all the way to the back bumper, but this is going to have about a 7,400 pound gross vehicle weight rating, which means even if you remove the cargo capacity, which is going to be upwards of about 1,500 pounds, you're still going to be talking about a trailer that's going to be too heavy for that truck. Because even at empty dry weight, you're going to be talking about transferring roughly 600 pounds to the back of the truck. When it's fully loaded, that's going to be upwards of about 800 pounds. And then finally, one other one we'll take a look at, simply because this is not going to be a stick and tin. This is going to be an aluminum frame with fiberglass sidewall, laminated sidewall unit. This is a Heartland North Trail Ultralite. This unit has a 6,900 pound gross vehicle weight rating and about a 1,600 pound cargo capacity, which means when you subtract the cargo capacity and you look at the dry weight of this specific unit, you're going to be closer to about 5,400 pounds, which means you do have the ability to tow something like this if you run it really light. Now again, you're going to have between roughly 550 all the way up to about 800 pounds worth of tongue weight, depending on how you load this thing down, and that's going to be critical. So if you get something a little larger like this, you just have to be cautious with how you load it down and understand that you might be on the verge of overloading the payload capacity of the truck. So you want to be careful there, but keep in mind, again, you will be towing it with a 3/4 ton truck. That's a relatively long wheelbase. So towing something like this with a power wagon wouldn't be out of the question. And the model number on this unit is the 22CRB from North Trail. It's actually a pretty nice unit. You can see how they space the axles out pretty far apart, and this is supposed to help eliminate what's called porpoising, where you essentially have the tires and axles so close together that it causes kind of an instability whenever you go over bumps. This is supposed to spread that out a little bit, but you can see how long that equalizer is back there. This is a very, very spread out suspension system, and they call it their wide tracks suspension. And for being a relatively short unit, it has a slide on it, and it's a pretty big slide. Now, one thing to keep in mind about this slide is they've reduced some of the weight in this slide by going to a cable-driven system for this specific slide, simply because a rack and pinion system is going to weigh probably upwards of about 200 pounds more than a cable-driven slide system. But looking at the numbers on this coach, this one has a 6,900 pound gross vehicle weight rating and a 1,568 pound cargo capacity. And that's going to leave it roughly about 5,300 pounds worth of dry weight whenever you remove the cargo capacity from the gross vehicle weight rating. And again, if you load this thing up light and you balance out your weight well, and really keep an eye on how much weight you're transferring to the back of the truck, you could probably tow something like this. So it's not out of the question to tow a reasonable size travel trailer behind a power wagon. You just have to keep in mind how much weight you're loading into the truck, how much weight you're loading into your trailer, where that weight's going to be positioned. Again, the more weight you move towards the back of the unit, the less weight is going to hang over the actual receiver of the truck, and that's going to help you. You also don't want to create instability by loading the back of your trailer too heavy as well. So again, this isn't something that's out of the question to tow with a power wagon. You just have to be cautious with where you load your weight and how much weight is hanging over the back of the truck, and how much weight you have in the truck, of course. Whenever you factor everything into play, it really comes down to how you're loading up your trailer, if you can do without loading some things in your trailer to avoid excessive weight, and where you position it. And there are a lot of floor plans that you can look at that are possibly towable by that power wagon. You just have to do some research. Almost every manufacturer makes an ultralight version of their travel trailers, and they make one probably in a floor plan that's acceptable to you as long as you do some research and you do some looking for it. But just keep in mind, the magic number you want to try to stay under is going to be about 600 pounds for your tongue weight, and I would say between 6,000 and 7,000 pounds total for the trailer itself. Again, try to keep your tongue weight under 600 pounds and you're going to be in pretty good shape. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up. We'll talk to you again very soon.